Ner Shabbat, even though we know that there's a famous rule. Tadir v'she'enot tadir, tadir kodem, and really Nerot Shabbat should really belong first. However, being that in essence Shabbat candles are accepting Shabbat, again it's not necessarily that way, however that's the way it is. So therefore, one should first light Nerot Hanukkah, and then he should light Nerot Shabbat. However, let's say you're very precious for time, it's last minute that you're lighting. Simultaneously, you light the first candle, and while you're lighting the rest of the candles, the wife can already go and light her candles for Shabbat in order that there should not be any kind of Halul Shabbat. And once we're talking about Halul Shabbat, being that it's a short Friday, and just in general, all short Fridays is all difficult. One should be very careful to be able to come home early on Fridays in order not to have Halul Shabbat. Especially this week, where you're coming in to light candles for Hanukkah. You see sometimes, unfortunately, people lighting Hanukkah candles after the time. And that's Yasas Charo Behefsedo. You got a bigger avon than a mitzvah. If you're lighting after the time and you're going into Shabbat, so what mitzvah do you have? So a person has to make sure that he gets home early. And in case he realizes that he's going to be home pretty late and he's not going to be able to make the time, by the time he gets in the house and he has to take a shower, whatever he has to do, by the time he's ready to light the candles, it's going to be already too late. Then in such a case, he should instruct somebody else in the house to light the candles for him. Again, the right thing is to make sure to come on time. But in case you can't make it on time, for whatever the reasons are, accidents do happen, and in such a case, one should make sure that the candles are lit on time by somebody else. You could appoint any family member to light the candles instead of you in order that the candles should be lit on time. Also, one more very important halakha is in regards to where you place the candles. Now again, our custom is that we try to put the candles by a window. Regardless of where you put the candles, you have to make sure that it's in a place that it's not going to blow out by other people, or people are going to shake it. It's on a table where people are sitting on, and people are going to move around the table. Then in such a case, you have a problem of kibui on Shabbat, turning off lights, even if it doesn't go off, and you're just shaking around. People are shaking it, that's considered gram kibui, and it's a problem. Therefore, one should be careful wherever he places the menorah, that it should be in a good place in order that nobody's going to have to move it, and it's not going to have to be, again, with doors and whatever, that you're not going to blow it out when you open the door or close the door. Also, make sure that you put it in a place that you don't need to move it, because the menorah stays muktzeh the whole Shabbat. Since it was muktzeh at the beginning of Shabbat, even after it turns off, Shabbat morning, you want to move it, you can't really move it. Ayedeh goy, possibly, maybe you could, but generally, you're not allowed to move the menorah. The menorah is muktzeh and you can't really move it. So therefore, you should put it in a place where you know you don't need to move it. It's going to stay there for the whole Shabbat, and only till after Motzei Shabbat will you start putting on the new candles for Motzei Shabbat, to light the candles for Motzei Shabbat.